It is starting to warm up. It is summertime. You know what? I don't think we need to make much of an intro for this. We're going to talk a little bit about the transgender sports ban. We're going to talk about the Fox News settlement. Let's get into this week's quick hits.
Today is a great day for America, for fairness, for families, and most importantly, for female athletes. House Republicans pledged before the last election their commitment to America to protect women and girls in sports. Today we kept that promise.
Okay, now I don't think this is going to go through the Democratic-led House, but this is a huge win for Republicans. The reason why is because this shows the American people that Republicans are serious about protecting women's rights, while Democrats fall behind, showing that they care more about ridiculous gender ideology than women's rights to succeed in sports.
And you want to talk about threats to our democracy? One of the threats, and that phrase is an interesting one, threats to our democracy. I think one of the biggest ones is the chilling effect on speech in our country more broadly.
Okay, I got to say, I am becoming more of a fan of Vivek Ramaswamy the more and more he talks. If none of you saw, he had an interview on CNN with Don Lemon. He absolutely smoked Don Lemon. And it was really interesting. He was talking about how the chilling effect of speech happens when you have cancel culture, which is such a liberal policy, such a liberal ideology. And it's crazy how Democrats are so opposed to it and that Republicans have actually taken up the forefront of that issue in order to save our republic.
$787.5 million. It's one of the largest settlements or verdicts in a defamation case in history.
Okay, if you didn't hear this week, Fox gave up almost $800 million in a settlement case so that they wouldn't have to go to trial. Now, there's a lot of speculation on why they would do this, that they thought they were just definitely going to lose. It's true that they thought that they were definitely going to lose, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they were guilty for the crime that they were being accused of. It could mean that they were just afraid of a jury who's going to be very biased against them. It also means that they don't really want Rupert Murdoch, they don't really want Tucker Carlson getting up in front of a jury and having the media have a heyday with that experience. And so even though 800 million is pretty steep, obviously I'm not fully familiar with the financial situation of Fox News, but I actually think it was the right call. And I think people are making a little bit too big of a deal about it. This is really just the price of running a business.
And I think the main divide in this country, and I say this to conservative audiences equally, is not between Republicans and Democrats. It is between those of us who are pro-American, embracing the ideals that set this country into motion, and I think an increasing strain in this country that is anti-American, that wishes to apologize for a nation founded on those ideals.
100% that's true. I love that. It's really not a partisan thing anymore. It should not be. Like, I really look at Democrats not as my enemy. Elite Democrats, maybe. They're incredibly corrupt. But frankly, there's some corrupt Republicans too. And I think that, people on both sides should acknowledge that. But what Vivek says here is really important. If you are an American first, if you really value patriotism, you're on the right side. If you're against America and the principles it stands for, then that really is where the divide is in this country.
What do you think is the influence Rogan and Musk have in flipping votes?
Okay, I'm going to act like this question was framed towards me, even though it wasn't. The answer is not enough. They have a lot of influence. People listen and they hear it, but I don't know that Elon Musk or Joe Rogan have that much say in what happens in the elections. I think people listen to it and they think that's interesting, but when it really comes down to voting, I don't think they're thinking about what they heard on the podcast that day. I think they're thinking of the people who on the news are saying democracy is at stake. I think those things are a lot more scary and jarring to them. And Elon Musk and Joe Rogan just really aren't in the business of trying to scare the crap out of people like a lot of journalists are. Thanks for watching as always, guys. Remember to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you thought about this week's Quick Hits.